Hey there, everybody, and welcome back. For those of you that are looking to build a website that has a sign-in page that then navigates you to kind of like a landing page, but you don't want to learn any coding, stay tuned. I'm going to cover how to do this in today's video. Now, before we get started, don't forget to like and subscribe and check out the channel for new content. All right, so instead of going through a demo, I'm just going to walk you through what we're going to be setting up. So I have Notepad++ on the right. This is a free tool, but you can also use Notepad. And then I have a free Firebase account, so you can go to firebase.google.com. This is where data and user accounts will be stored. Now, this video will not be covering any kind of security basics or anything like that, so make sure that you're managing data and user accounts in accordance with any and all relevant laws, rules, guidelines, etc. So when you go into Firebase for the first time, you'll set up a project, which is pretty basic. You just click Start Project, you'll name the project, and then you'll sign in to a dashboard. You'll need to click on these three tabs. So Firestore Database will land you in a page, if you've already used it, that looks like this. Otherwise, if you haven't used it before, it will say, is this right for you? And then you'll just click the button that says Enable Firestore Database, and you'll just go through the 2 prompts or 3 prompts or however many to set it up. You'll do the same thing for real-time database and authentication, and then you'll set up whatever relevant rules for yourself. Then we're going to go over to ChatGPT, where we will be building out the basics of this page, which will be in HTML. So we're going to write out our requirements. So we're going to say, write the HTML code for a single login page. This needs to be visually appealing and use at least 4 creative elements. I specify this because in the past when I've said visually appealing, sometimes it looks okay, sometimes it doesn't, but usually I don't like it when it's too simple. So by specifying a number of elements, it kind of forces ChatGPT to make something a little bit more unique. So now we need to specify the requirements for this. So this needs to use Firebase for the user accounts. And then we need to say this needs a single text box for a user email and a single text box for the password. Additionally, this needs a sign in button and a sign up button. When the user logs in, they need to be directed to a landing page called page2.html. Now, I'm specifying the landing page portion because after we do the login page, I want to have ChatGPT build the landing page for us. So you'll see here we get started. Here's an example of an HTML code for a visually appealing page and 4 creative elements. And then we'll have our new document over in Notepad++. Now, a couple of things to note here is when you go into Firebase, I'll show you how to get a couple of credentials we're going to need. So once you've set your account up, you can go to Project Overview, Project Settings, and then when you scroll down, there's an option to add app. If you click the web app option, you can name your app and click Register. And in the Add Firebase SDK section, you're going to have something that looks like this, which will have all the credentials you need, API key, auth domain, etc. So what I've done is I've set a Notepad document over here, and you'll see I have API key, auth domain, project ID, storage bucket. I only pulled the ones that were actually required from this document here. So you'll see it lists them right here, and I have them, there's 6 in order, and I have those 6 right here. So this way I can just quickly access. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to copy code, and we'll paste it in here. And you can review the basics of this if you need to. So you can see right here, here's adding in the CSS style link. You can replace your Firestore configuration, add JavaScript for Firebase integration. So you do get the redirect details. So if you want to redirect to a different page, you can see the link here. You see the login failure notification. So it's broken down for you pretty well. So now that we've copied it over here, we are going to copy our Firebase credentials. We'll go to that relevant section And if ChatGPT makes something that looks a little bit different for you and it says something along the lines of replace with your Firebase configuration, this is basically what you're going to be putting. It doesn't always specify API key, auth domain, etc. So I like to throw in a couple of spaces just so I can kind of see everything formatted. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to click File, Save As. We'll go to our desktop and we're going to call this index.html. We call it this because if you host it online, this is how it's going to say, hey, this is my home page. So now we're going to minimize this and open up the index option. Now, unfortunately, we did not get a very visually appealing page. All right, so we have our login page here, and now we can test it out. So we'll type in a@a.com. This is an account that I've already set up previously. So we're going to click sign in, and we'll see not only is nothing happening, but we don't have page 2 built just yet. So if you want to test if it's working, you'll see first and foremost, we have a couple of errors. The first of which is the sign up page is right here, which actually links to a different sign up page, which we don't have, which is part of the reason I said I wanted this to be on a single page. So what we're going to do is we're going to say this requires a sign up page. Rewrite this so the sign up and sign in functions are on the same page. This way, what we're looking for is code that basically says type in your email, type in your password, sign in or sign up, and then we don't need a second page. It just reduces a little bit of pain that you'll go through in that process. So now we're going to wait on ChatGPT to finish this. And I'm honestly kind of surprised it made it this far. Normally, it doesn't print out that much. So at this point, what we need to do is we need to get ChatGPT to finish the code. So we're going to say, you did not finish the code. Please do not retype the entire code. Finish starting from... And the reason I chose this portion here is I'm just trying to get it to start from a place where I think it could easily find it. So you'll see sign up form submission is right here. So hopefully we have enough to finish, and we do. So now what we're going to do is we will copy this code, paste it over top of our current. We'll scroll down and copy here, and you'll see sign up form submission. So now we just need to find that over here and just copy over top, paste in the new code. You don't really need to remove this, but I like to. And we'll click save. And now we go to our login page and refresh. Now the button here, you'll see it references in the bottom left-hand corner the same page that we're currently on, which means that that's at least working. The downside is I saw some errors earlier we may need ChatGPT's help with. So you'll see Firebase is not defined. That's expected because we copied over top of our credentials here. So now we're going to copy those in. And then we'll save and refresh the page. And now we get some slightly new errors. So firstly, ChatGPT did not give us the style CSS, and you'll see that right here, which, let's see. So we're just going to say, write me the code for the style.css. And then it'll create a separate file. So we'll go to a new page here in Notepad++, and basically you just save the style.css file wherever all of your other files are. So the good news for this is going to drastically improve the appearance of the site. So we'll call it style.css, save it to the desktop, and then we'll refresh our page, and you'll see now we have a much better looking sign up page. So we'll close the style CSS, and now we're going to right click and click inspect, go to our console and see what errors we have. So we're going to copy these errors and drop them into Firebase, or into ChatGPT. And see what it ends up saying. So you'll see it says it's related to using specific modules in the code. Here's a version that avoids the use of those modules. So basically we're just going to be replacing the code in our page. Now if you need to use additional files, you'll see here ChatGPT will name them. So if you need a JS file, then you just know that the content here needs to be in something called app.js. So we're going to be replacing everything in our home page with this, and you'll see we don't have any Firebase credentials any longer, and the reason is they are going to be saved in our JavaScript file. Now, unfortunately, it did not finish, so we are going to ask it to pick up where it left off. So we're going to say, you did not finish app.js. Please do not resend the entire file. Or we'll just say code. And then we'll say, please finish from, and then we'll paste in where it left off. So we've saved our index.html. So we're just going to go to File, and you'll see we don't have any changes to save. And then what we're going to do is go to a new text document. And from here, we're going to create our app.js file, which is basically the JavaScript file. So we're going to go to Copy Code. We'll paste it in here. And then we need to find out where we left off with the next bit of code that ChatGPT is typing up for us. So you'll see initialize Firebase is where it left off. And so we just need to scroll through and see. It looks like it may have actually just resent the entire bit of code, which is not really a problem. It just didn't finish up the first time around, which is good. So we'll just copy the second bit of code, and sometimes you do have to do some spot checking like this. And then we're going to go to File, Save As. And actually, before we do that, we need to double check that we have our configuration set up. So your basics for HTML is you're going to have your index.html, which is your home page. Then you'll have your supporting documents. Your style.css is going to help with the additional styling, so that's what brings in that visually appealing portion of the page. And then the JavaScript file is what's going to contain all of the other necessary documents, like, for example, your Firebase credentials. So you will see here this needs to be called app.js. So we'll save that to the desktop. And we are going to right-click and click Inspect again, go to the console, and we're going to refresh the page. And now we do not have any errors, which is a very good sign. So now we're going to try to log in real quick and type in a@a.com. This is an account I've already set up. And we're going to click Login. And you'll see this changes to page 2. Now, we don't have a page 2, so we need to get that. But we want to try to sign up with Firebase and see if this is truly working. So I'm going to go over in Firebase to Project Overview. And then we are going to go to Authentication. So you'll see I have a@a.com. I'm going to try to sign up with aa@a.com. And then you'll see, so I'm going to refresh. I don't know if it's going to take us to a second page or not. So it looks like we're going to need to, since the button's changed, we're going to type in those credentials again, click Sign Up. And then again, no page 2, but we'll see if we have the new user here, and we do. So now we need to say, or go over to ChatGPT and say, now please make me the landing page. I want this to look like the page for we'll just say social media website about coffee. And as you can see, if you're going page by page, you can pretty much have ChatGPT build everything for you. So we know that these pages are working, so we don't need these anymore. Now what we need is our landing page, which we'll just call page 2. And you'll see we have our style CSS, which I don't really know if I'm going to need for this, primarily because I'm just saving everything on my desktop and trying to make it simple. So I'm going to say rewrite this so it is only one page of HTML. I do not want a CSS file. And then this way, you're going to get what may not be as visually appealing, but it's just a single HTML file that you're going to access. That way, we're not going to have that second style.css file on our desktop. So again, trying to keep it as simple as possible because this will be super easy to deploy or keep on your local machine if you want to. Looks like we're getting close to finishing. So what we're going to do is copy this code. We'll paste it in here. And then we are going to say, you did not finish the code. Please do not resend the entire code. Please finish the code starting from, and I don't know if this is the best way to word it for ChatGPT, but historically, I've seen people say, oh, you can just type in finish or whatever the case is, but sometimes it'll retype the entire code anyway. So this is just what's worked best for me. So you'll see here we have body header coffee connect. So we're going to copy, and we know that this starts right here. And we're going to save this as page2.html to the desktop. And now we're going to go back in our browser. We're at our login page. We will type in our credentials, click sign in, and now we have our sign up login page with all of this extra stuff. So you'll see Discover Connect. We click Get Started, and it'll take you to a different area of the page. You'll see at the bottom we have 2023 Coffee Connect, all rights reserved. So I think this is really cool. It's an easy way to get started. You have your Firebase authentication, really easy way to get it set up. So basically this is a fully functional site, and then you can deploy it if you are interested. So I figured I would go through this very, very quickly to show you how you could host this online quickly. So I have Hostinger pulled up here. If you're interested in getting your own Hostinger account, you can head on over to codelessfix.com. So basically what you can do is you head over to CodelessFix, and when you're here, you can actually check out the affiliate links section. So when you go to About Us, you go to affiliate links, there's a Hostinger referral code. You'll get a discount, or you should, and then I will also get a portion of the financial profits from that as well. So I have Hostinger pulled up. We went to the managed or dashboard panel, and in this page here, I have codelessfix.app. Now you'll see if I refresh, nothing is there. This is kind of like my demo site. So if we go to public HTML, these are all subdomains, so you can ignore those. They're related to other projects. And basically, we just want to take all of the files, excluding this Firebase one, because that's the credentials that you don't want people to have. But we can take these files, drop them in this folder here, and essentially what will happen at that point is we can expand this page, and we'll click refresh. Now you'll see the login page, and we'll use the credentials that we know work, and we'll click sign in. And now we land at the page here. So you'll see we may have to do some work to get this portion to not be cut off. But as you can see, we have the fully functional page2.html page. And then from this point on, basically all that you need to do is get additional pages built. So to give you a quick example of this, page 2, here's the code for it. You'll see when you're scrolling through, you have the ability to view the different buttons. So as we're scrolling down, for example, you'll see we have a Get Started button, and then the text here, sign up form. So you could ask ChatGPT, hey, write me code for a different landing page. But the idea here is you would look for these ahref sections, and this is where you would have those buttons that are doing some kind of a redirect. So you could just say, hey, rebuild the page so that it has this, this, and this. But it's a little bit easier to have smaller pages because you're only going to get you'll kind of max out the amount of code that ChatGPT can write, and it's much harder to go through and troubleshoot when you're asking ChatGPT to finish the code 4 times and you have a couple hundred lines. But at the very least, this gets you where you need to go to get started. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment box below, and I'll see you all in the next video.